Alright, so just so you guys know, this video is sped up about 300%. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually putting snaps to grid on, and so I can easily snap in now these, I think the grid is 10 by 10, and so I'm snapping in these pieces, and then I move the pivot point so that the pivot point is stuck on the corner of the vertex, and with that, then what I can do is now snap these pieces over and over and over together. And so from there, I can build up these individual pieces um, and basically turn each individual piece into a modular asset that I can use to build my buildings really quick. I've just got a 4x4 grid here, nothing special. And then from there, um, I'm changing up some of the features here, going from like 4x4 to 2x2 and things like that, just to get a little bit more variance in there. So with this in place now, I'm just grabbing, I'm going to make simple shapes to start with. So in this case, I'm just extruding a door inward. I'm going to add in some more pieces here, and a couple of these, I'm going to change the door heights. I'm going to change the kind of width and feeling of the doors, all that information. So here's just an extrude of a window, and I kind of realized that I want to have more layers of windows to go on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start adding in, more defined areas. So here's a typical window, and I'm going to have some more things here. And what I'm going to do here in Photoshop is I'm actually going to make I think it's 1024 or 2048 piece of just an image, and then I'm going to grid the image up by 128 segments. So with that, I can then basically take and copy in, something from Google here, and I'm just going to grab a royalty-free piece and then paste it in there. And for now, that's just fine. I'm not going to use this as my final texture. I'm just using it as a placeholder, so I get a good idea, a good, base of what I'm going to do. And so once that's snapped in there, I'm just going to tile that down and make that a full piece. And so now with that full piece in there, I can actually apply this texture to the material assets and get a good idea of what I'm kind of looking for. And I just grab a base concrete mesh here, and I scale the mesh up, and actually I tile it over here. So this is now my base layer for my concrete as well. So with these two pieces in there now, I think I grab another piece of something else here. Just looking for a door or something simple like that. And I notice I changed my usage rights, so this is all like able to be reused with permission here. So always pay attention to who owns the images and things like that. So the next thing is just dumping in that image here. I saved my file off. I'm going to open my image here, and again, this is just placeholders. I'm not spending a ton of time, working on this. I'm basically creating this as a kind of an idea to get a good sense of where I'm going with it, and that's all I'm doing. Is I'm not really trying to I'm not trying to do anything major. I'm just trying to get it kind of just a functional look. And then what I'm going to do is just scale down the UV to fit over that particular mesh, and then I'm going to just rotate it here. Just kind of snapping into the grid here and just rotating it. So now my mesh is in there, and I'm set to go. And so with this, now I can snap, and go vertically. I can go and move in different directions. All of that aspects, I can pretty much just kind of move around and kind of add in different types of pieces. Now, when you're doing this, remember to take your snaps off because it causes some issues. And then here, I just create another segment, and you always want to make sure that that segment is so you're not adjusting the textures while you do it. And so you can see here, I just take this two segment piece and break it off, and I move it down here like so, and then I can scale it up, and now I've got just a placeholder for that brick in there, and it's really simple, it's really easy, and I can do some different things with it, and I can play around with it, and kind of adjust accordingly, and get the textures that I need for it. Now here I'm making a corner piece, and in the end I never really use this. I'm going to have to go and clean up what I've got so far, just to make some ends meet and things like that. But I don't really use this at any point in time. I'm just kind of creating this to kind of work with this process here. So as I work with this, as I'm basically adjusting this and tweaking it here, trying to get the little pieces all nice and clean. And I'm just doing a little adjustment here on this. Now I think I'm just grabbing this little piece and kind of adjusting it over so that it fits back into the plane here. And with that done, that basically that little bit of stretch is not going to kind of hurt it at all. So I'm just kind of, I was going to use this for a lot more things, and then I just kind of went back and started doing all this other stuff here. So the same thing with the doors and all of this. So here I'm making, basically slicing in another door, and I'm going to make changes accordingly. And the key to this is just basically, moving this all around so that it's, so that it basically kind of maintains this base idea. And so, you always want to just realize that, and make your adjustments accordingly. Notice that I've got stretching going on with the interior frames there, and you can see kind of what I'm doing right there. So I'm basically breaking that apart right there. I turn that into a separate piece and just move it off to the side because it's going to be a door. But these side pieces here, actually what I'm doing is I'm just going through and breaking the corners and the edges there. And so with those corners and edges broken, I can simply just stretch them downward and make them whole pieces so that it looks like the brick is basically going into, and you can see just moving them straight down. And they're overlapping, yes, but it's not going to cause any major issues with the brick pattern. Everything looks okay so far, so I'm okay with the way the brick pattern is as of right now. Again, this is just a placeholder. I'm just getting my UVs laid out so that when it comes time to actually build this stuff, I'll have all the pieces that I need, and that way I'm not fighting, going back and redoing everything over and over again. I'm just getting this brick pattern in here so it makes sense at the moment. And you can see I'm just grabbing some of these pieces and kind of scaling down, and they're overlapping and things like that. So that's something that, like I said, I'm not too worried about at this moment. I'm just kind of getting that look and feel in there. And those little pieces kind of will move on to the end here, and I'll use them for something else at the end of the thing. All right.